Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with Helene Rothschild, licensed marriage, family therapist, intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and author. Your body's talking to you. Are you listening?
Yeah, that's the truth. I discovered that concept over 40 years ago. My first client, I said to her, "How do you feel about your boyfriend?" And she didn't say anything, but she stuck her hands in this apron dress that had two pockets. And I said, "I noticed you put your hands in your pockets." And she took them out, and she had two fists. And she said, "Oh my God, no wonder why I have arthritis." And I
Wow.
go, "Well, that's interesting." And I just started looking for the mind body connection, and I always found it, even with accidents that I'll share more later. But even serious illnesses, I mean, arthritis is no fun. And she was a young woman. Obviously, before I finished with her, she had a lot of anger at him, and she stuffed it in her hands. And so she was creating arthritis. So I had another client about 35 years ago, and very memorable. He was a recovering alcoholic, about 6'3" and overweight. And he came in and he said, I had x-rays and I had spots on my lungs. So I said, "Okay, close your eyes and let's go inside your lung. And do you see it?" He says, "Yes, I see it." "Now ask it out loud. What are you trying to tell me?" And then become the spot of the lung and see an image of yourself. This is the basic heart therapy that I developed. It stands for Holistic and Rapid Transformation, HART. And the lung told him, "You need to stop smoking." Typically people let go of one addiction and they have another, and that you need to eat carefully and rest more and take better care of yourself. So then he became himself again, and the spot got a lot lighter. And then I said, "Are you willing to make that agreement with your lungs? Because the body's talking to you. It's a wake-up call." And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Tell the body what you're willing to do." Say, "I'm willing to stop smoking and eat well and balance my life so I rest more." And then I said, "What do you need to do to heal the lungs?" He said, "I'm going to hose it down." So he's hosing down his lungs. And I told him to continue to do that, but you also have to follow up because you got the message. If you don't do what it tells you, it's going to have to wake you up harder
Right.
because the body needs a homeostasis. It knows how to be healthy, but you have to listen to it. And
Right.
so a week later, he came back. He was in my group therapy and he shared this, and we were all laughing so hard. He said, "I went back to the doctor and he took another x-ray and it wasn't there."
Wow.
So my client said, uh, "Well, I've been hosing it down." So the doctor looked at him like he was crazy, of course. And he said, "Well, go get another x-ray." And so he took a second x-ray, no spot. And so what the doctor decided is that there wasn't a spot in the first place. It was effective x-ray because doctors are trained only in the physical. But
Yes.
we have four parts: mind, body, spirit, and emotions.
Yes.
Isn't that powerful?
Very powerful. And I am so grateful that you shared this with me because I've been able to help my clients through certain things that doctors have not been able to really diagnose. For example, one of my clients, she decided she was going to start speaking her truth. She was so excited because her and her therapist were working on her speaking up, speaking her truth, showing up for herself. However, she developed uh, an oozing in her mouth. It was all around her lips. It was on her tongue, on her mouth. And the doctors could not find what it was. They couldn't trace where it was. They did testing. They couldn't figure it out. So I asked her if she would be willing to find out what it is, to talk to her body. So we did the heart process. And through the process, what she had decided was that it was not safe for her to speak up. So her body was trying to protect her from speaking up because it
Exactly.
believed that she was in danger. So we worked through the body, and she decided, she made a new decision based on what we were doing with the heart therapy. And she then decided she went back to the first time. Let me go back there. She went to the first time she decided it was not safe. And it was when she was a little girl. And her dad used to hit her in her mouth when she would try to defend herself or speak up. So as a little girl, she decided it's not safe for me to speak up. It's better for me to stay quiet. So when she started speaking up, her mouth started oozing. So here we are, we did the heart process. The next day, she went back to the doctor. She started healing. So she made her new decision that it was safe for her to talk. She forgave her father, and she was able to tell him, it is safe for me to talk. I need to say my truth. I am safe. And, it was this whole forgiveness thing, the process of the heart. And next day, she goes back to the doctors. She's healing. And they anticipated it was going to be many, many weeks until she started seeing any healing because they thought it was viral. And the doctor says, oh, well, maybe it was a 24-hour thing. And I said, okay, sure. And, it was pretty amazing. And another one of my clients, he could not figure out what was wrong with him. He had a lot of pain. He had, just a lot of kidney issues. So we did the heart process with him. And what his kidneys were telling him was, forgive, forgive yourself, love yourself, rest. And it also told him what his body needed to do, which was drink more water, get more rest, practice forgiveness. And he's been doing great ever since. Now it's been, I think since we did the heart process, it's been 6 months. He's lost 20 pounds. He's a lot healthier. He's younger, and I mean, he's feeling great. And like you said, it's that follow-up of listening to the body, because if not, it speaks louder to you. And
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's very dangerous. What I discovered working with clients is just to remove the symptom. For example, about 30 years ago, I had a client call me, and she said she was in a lot of pain, that she had a tumor removed from her throat, um, a neck area by the throat, and now it's in her spine. And she was very scared and a lot of pain. So I worked with her on talking to the body in the spine, and it told her what it needed her to heal. And she was a major people pleaser. So the spine is about, I don't have the backbone. Body is very literal, is what I discovered. My clients taught me this. And we healed that. And then she came back the next week and she said, oh, my back feels great. But now where they took the tumor out in my neck, it's hurting. I said, yes, they took out the physical tumor, but not the cause. So she came in again and we worked on talking to the area, and she was able to again heal the fear of it's not safe to speak up, which is a very common belief, unfortunately, which we may get off in a very young age. And the pain disappeared. And when she came to me the first time, she was on all kinds of medication for the pain. She was on no more medication.
Wow. Amazing.
So I just do the heart process, and I just watch what happens by asking the right questions. And it's been very revealing to me. I'm going to be 80 in a few days, and this is my natural color hair, and I don't even have a doctor, and I don't take any drugs or vaccines. I do holistic healing on myself, and so I do my own therapy when I have a physical issue. I'm also developed my intuition, so I ask my intuition, what's my highest good to do in this situation? And so we can maintain our own health. I haven't spent a penny on doctor bills this year, and I often don't spend any money on doctor bills, except I would go for my eye checkup, once a year. And we can heal ourselves. I mean, if you feel you need to see the doctor, of course you go do it. But it's also important to take responsibility for your own body symptoms, because the pain in the even accidents, which I'll share, is a symptom, the cause or your beliefs you made. So this is the key, that heart therapy is so basic and simple that you make decisions on your experiences all the time. And those decisions run your life and affect your body. And so what we do is we go back to we wisely did that when she made a decision it wasn't safe to speak up.
Right.
And we write out the scene and change the scene to a positive. And what new decision you're making? And she said, it's safe for me to, my parents say, yeah, please speak up, tell me your truth. And it was safe. It's safe for me to speak my truth. And it could be 30, 40, 50 years later,
Wow.
they bring them back to the present and they start healing and speak their truth. It's so amazing. You keep me going for 40 years as a therapist.
It really is powerful. And a lot of times we think, oh, it's just a headache, and we ignore it. And what I've learned to do now is be aware. My body's telling me something. It's no longer ignore. It's like, okay, what's happening here? What are you trying to tell me? You know, and in my logic, it's, oh, it's just a headache. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Let's talk, you know, and it's really taking the time to pause and listen. Like you said, are you listening to your body? Because our bodies are speaking to us. And in fact, in your book, All You Need Is Heart, you say the different body areas too of what, you know, what the reference is: headaches, the back of your head. And I noticed that in my practice as a massage therapist, when my clients allow me to do the heart process on them, we're able to go back and, like you said, to childhood of when they made these decisions. And they realize, oh, wow, I didn't know I was carrying that there. Or I didn't know my son was on my shoulder. I didn't know I was so angry. You know, a lot of us people pleasers, I used to be, have a lot of anger, and we hold a lot here in our throat because we're constantly holding back, and we feel it. Oh, and in our jaw. I mean, I remember I used to go to the dentist and I used to ask her, like, I know something's wrong, something hurts, and it's got to be something. So she did so many x-rays, nothing wrong with my teeth. It was all in my jaw, in the muscles, because I was always clenching.
And look at your fist.
And ooh, ooh. Yes. And, you know, it was just kind of like, okay, how do I learn to speak my truth in a loving way? And, you know, I've been learning that, thankfully, you know, with you. Like, we've been working for several years together, and it's been healing my body. I feel younger. I feel lighter. I just feel happier, you know. And another thing my body was telling me too is when I was doing the weight, you know, I would put weight on myself as a safety, you know, and I felt tired. I felt exhausted. And I remember we did the heart process, and my body was really just telling me to be healthier and to love myself, and that I was safe. And it wasn't until, you know, we started doing that process that I realized eating healthy, exercising, it's all part of self-love.
Yeah. And the body will, even in some clients have told their body part told them take a specific supplement. And they often say drink more water. We often don't drink enough
We don't
good
drink
water.
enough water.
Drink water. And they will guide them. They never guide them to medication. Unfortunately, medication, if you really need it, you need it, but it has terrible side effects. And if you could heal yourself naturally. So if I have the physical symptoms, I will search also on the web, natural ways to heal this. And
Right.
I'll get some ideas and I'll do it myself. And so I feel fine. Just getting warmed up at 80.
And you look amazing.
Thank you. So talking about anger, I found that emotions go into specific areas of the body. And this woman came in with bursitis, which is the inflammation in the bursa in the shoulder, and she couldn't lift her arm. And so I said, okay, close your eyes and see someone or something you're angry at. And she would start yelling and screaming all her anger out. And I said, how do you feel? She said, good. I said, see if you can raise your arm. She raised it up immediately.
Wow.
Instant success.
Yes.
And also with headaches, I've had clients come in with headaches and I have them beat up a pillow and yell and scream what they're angry about. And they said, my headache's gone. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I used to have terrible headaches before too. And that's one thing that I've noticed. I don't get very many headaches. The times that I do is because I'm not drinking enough water or getting enough sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And my body will tell me right away.
So even I discovered from my clients, even accidents, we create our own accidents because of our belief system. So this woman, client recently told me about a story that she, about a year or two ago, she was in a motorcycle accident and it was so severe that she was in the hospital for a month.
Wow.
It's a miracle she survived, that they fixed her up. And I said, imagine that since we have all the answers, we just in heart ask the right questions. I said, imagine you're up in the sky and watching yourself have the motorcycle accident and tell yourself you created that because, and what came out was because you were going, and you wouldn't stop.
Oh
So
my
they made her
gosh.
stop for a month in the hospital.
Wow.
And
Well,
then more recently, she said she just called me because last week, because the week before she fell off a horse. And
oh,
so we again talked to the back, which was hurting. And it also said you need to take time off. But it was another interesting part to that. She was supposed to have a group uh, um, horseback riding lesson. So her teacher called and said, there's not enough people for your class, so join us on the earlier class. She didn't want to do that. But being a people pleaser, she wanted a private session. She said, okay. So she gets on this horse that's already shaky. And sure enough, he bolts and she goes
oh
flying.
no.
So it's dangerous to be a people pleaser because she wasn't true to herself.
Right.
So there was the lesson. You
Yeah.
know, you have to take care of yourself. The other person would be fine. You have to speak your truth, as you said wisely, in a loving way. And in my book, All You Need Is Heart, I have copies, and it's also available on ebook on my website, and Amazon has them too. And there's a lot of information on communication and how there's also how to heal your body. But also I want to say that the 15th of this month, that's a week from Thursday,
Hmm.
from at 7 to 8 Pacific Standard Time, I'm offering a teleconference call. Your body's talking to you. Are you listening? And it's only $15. I have a bunch of people on it, but if there's room because it's a teleconference, so you just go on my website and you'll see events and you can sign up. And I'm going to guide you through the heart process to help you find out what your body's telling you.
Yes. Yes.
But
And
fun.
I will be providing that website also. So search for that under the bar. I'm going to provide that there too. And get on the, so you have a subscription also for your newsletter.
Yes,
And that one's
and
great because you stay up to date as to what's coming up the following week.
yes, I'm doing teleconferences regularly. And also, if you sign up for free, you get a free teleconference that I did before in healing your body. So what I teach, what I learned and teach, I teach everything I learn, is the body has specific places it goes, specific emotions go. So when you said kidneys, I discovered kidneys are fear. The stomach is fear.
Yes.
Um, uh, arthritis is anger, but under anger is fear, hurt, and powerlessness.
Yeah.
So you have to heal with the anger, and then you have to deal with the fear. But do you want to share any other cases that you remember?
Well, I mean, there's so many areas where I personally experienced a lot of healing, even with the accidents. I attracted accidents to myself, and the universe didn't make me stop. I was overworking. I was punishing myself for many things. But one of the things that's really standing out to me right now is the time when you and I were working together, and I had so much pain in my stomach. I've always had like a lot of stomach pain. And it was anger, it was fear. I mean, I was terrified. And one of my biggest fears was my emotions. I could not speak about my emotions. I was afraid to, because as a little girl, it was not safe to cry. I had to be strong. I had to not cry or show emotion, or they'd give me a reason to show and cry and show emotion. So when you and I got together and worked on how do you feel, I remember I immediately felt sick to my stomach, and I just wanted to vomit, and I just thought, I can't. I started sweating, and I remember you saying, try this for size, and I started crying, and it just all came out, and it was this feeling of, wow, how long has that been there? And now I recognize it. When I start feeling that, I recognize it. My body is telling me, let it go, let it out. You're angry or you're scared. Let's work through the emotions. How do you feel? And I remember writing down how I felt, and it was the most terrifying feeling to write down how I felt. So I was always going into my logic. Now I can happily say I feel sad. Not happily say, but I can say it, and I feel safe saying I feel really sad about this situation, or I'm angry. I feel angry, and I can actually express it, rather than what I used to do before was hide and just hold it all in, and that really starts causing a lot of issues with our body. And so I encourage everyone to really stop and listen to your body. What is it telling you? And we have the tools to help you, guide you through that.
Yes, and it's also in the Heart Book, and I even have a CD, which is also available as an MP3 on my website, called Healing Your Body, where I guide you through the process. And so I imagine this is something new to everybody. It was new to me. I didn't learn this at Santa Clara University, where I took my master's in counseling. My clients started teaching me the mind-body connection, and it's been fascinating. Even for heart, I had a client, a man, who said feelings and logic are the same. I go, oh my God, are you in trouble? And his wife was ready to leave him.
Oh my
His
God.
daughters wouldn't talk to him. His business was failing, and he was on hot medication. So he finally came in along when she threatened that she would leave unless he came in, because he's very resistant. And I said, okay, you have to use logic to connect with these people. Very bright man. I said, John, you're telling me that your car is fine, yet it's not going anywhere. It's stuck. Your wife wants to leave you. Your daughters won't talk to you. Your business is failing, and you have heart condition. If your car doesn't move, you pick up the hood and fix it. Well, we have to go inside and see what's causing your life to be this way.
Yeah.
Well, I finally got him to close his eyes,
So good.
and he went back to being this little boy, and he cried like a baby. He was such a wounded little boy.
Yeah.
It wasn't safe. A lot of men are brought up that way. Don't cry, be a man. It's just ridiculous. So they're allowed to be aggressive and angry, but they're not allowed to be scared or hurt. That causes a lot of disharmony in the homes as well as in the world.
Right.
And he did amazing. After we worked together and he was in a group therapy, I'll never forget. He said, I used to say BH, that's before Helene, that there's no such thing as emotions. And AH, after Helene, our emotions. And he went back to the heart doctor, and the doctor said, "What have you been doing? You don't need the medication anymore." It saved his life.
Yes. Yeah.
And it saved his marriage, and his daughters talked to him, and his business started to progress
Wow.
forward.
That makes me so happy.
Ends. And this process is we just guide people with the right words. We don't do it for you.
Right.
We walk with you together to guide you.
Right.
And it has a lot to do with that little boy or girl. Oh, usually 5 or under, people said. No, I go, wow, that's what I find.
Yeah.
The first 5 years of life, you form your basic personality, which are decisions you made from experiences. Of course, the positive decisions you don't have to go back to because they're serving you. It's the negative decisions. And
Right.
fear is false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
So, for example, dad is yelling at me, even though it has nothing to do with you, you can decide, oh, I must be bad.
Yeah.
So then you punish yourself. Is that what you can relate to?
I remember that when I was a little girl, my dad used to say that, like, you do not cry, you do not show emotion. I mean, I remember feeling so sad and crying, and he would punish me for it. It felt really scary because, he was very aggressive with his words and his actions that I learned how not to cry, no matter how much,
Survivors.
yeah, no matter how much it hurt. I was very, poker face. You could never tell I was sad. You could never tell I was in pain because I learned so well how to cover that up. And
Survivors. And men, a lot of men do that.
yeah, and
But
now, I remember the first time my kids saw me cry, they thought, what is going on? Who are you? They realized mom's not a robot. Oh my gosh, she has feelings. And that's really helped them because they're able to say their loving truth. They can express sadness, anger, they can express all those things. It's what they do with them that then determines that was not right, or let's try something else. But what I notice is they're free. They're free to express. And I'm so glad because it's a gift to be able to show emotion, to be able to process what we're feeling, whether it's sadness, anger, whatever it is, and have that freedom. Oh, it's so good.
a great gift because they would have problems in their relationships and their body because feelings are real. They may be irrational, but they are real.
Yeah.
And you just have to express them constructively. You don't attack anyone with it, which is what anger does. When someone attacks you with anger, they're actually feeling it's a cover up for fear, hurt, or powerlessness. So they're hiding their underlying true feelings of vulnerability. And they've been taught from their father and their mother, and you've done a great job stopping that. So your children will, when they have children, will be able to allow them to be emotional, which is awesome. And that's what we have to do. And so when you're angry, you're actually attacking someone else when you're hurt and scared. So you hurt and scare the other person.
Yeah.
And before you know it, relationships are over. I'm working with a couple now, and that's what the husband was doing, just constantly angry at her. And it's really, it could destroy your love relationship.
It really does. I mean, I'm so grateful, that you're teaching all of this because I know that I was very angry, but it was because I was so hurt that the only way that I can share it or show it was through anger. And so my kids would witness me just being angry, closed off. And I think they were scared because they didn't know, like, uh-oh, what mood is she going to be in today? And I was just always angry. But it was really, my heart was hurting. I was heartbroken, and there were so many emotions that I didn't know how to express because I was supposed to be strong, and showing emotion meant I was weak. This is all the things that I had decided way back when I was a little kid. And
And the truth is, it takes a lot of strength and courage to share your honest feelings.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember the first time that I said the words, I feel sad. I mean, it was really hard. And
That's so beautiful because you are being real.
yeah, yeah. And now I'm so happy that I can share how I feel. I'm not attached to, you know, to a decision. It's more of, this is how I feel. I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to let it flow. And oh God, the only way that I could describe it is that it feels liberating.
You saved your life and a lot of doctor bills and pain.
Yes, actually, yeah, my blood pressure used to be off the roof, and I was in my 20s.
That's a lot of anger.
I was angry. Yeah. People that see me now, they're like, wow, you've completely changed. I used to be so angry, and my ego was completely what you would see. I was arrogant. I was mean. I was closed off. And yeah, people that knew me during that time see me now and they're like, wow, what is she doing? So I feel great and I'm thankful. I'm so thankful. And this is why I want to share it with the world. I want everyone to give themselves the opportunity. And it's life changing.
Yes, and I'm excited to share and thank you for co-creating this with me because whether they call you or me, I want people to take responsibility for their health and realize that they can prevent disease and accidents and even heal themselves. And again, we're never saying if you need to feel you need to go to doctor, you go to the doctor.
Oh yeah,
But you
absolutely.
want to work also with yourself to help heal yourself. And then if you need a doctor to do some things like surgery, often the doctors need to do. However, you can certainly, for example, I've helped clients prepare for surgery by releasing all their fears and visualizing an easy surgery. And knee surgery can be very painful, and I helped the client just really trust and feel peaceful. And she had a painless operation where before she met me, she was in excruciating pain. So yeah, we can talk about this all day, but I think we gave people the idea of that your body's talking to you.
Yes.
Hopefully you're listening. And again, if you'd like to join my teleconference on October 15th at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I am recording it, so if you miss it, you will get the recording. And it's called Your Body is Talking to You. Are you listening? And it's a good $15 investment in your health and healing.
Yes.
And of course,
Absolutely worth it.
we
Yes.
both offer sessions with people and to help them if they need our help. So
Absolutely.
thank
We
you
are
so
here.
much.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you again soon.
And be well.
Bye.
Bye.